So, can you introduce yourself to me?
Yes, I'm Adam Catlin. I am 45 years old. Do you want me to look at you? I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, you can look at me.
Okay. I'm Adam Catlin. I'm 45 years old. I am a Kansas author and aspiring filmmaker. I graduated from Southwestern College in 2002 from their film department, and I attended Cowley from 1995 through 1998.
Wow.
I live in Augusta, Kansas. My wife, Catherine, and I'm married to my wife, Catherine, and I have two kids, Aiden and Shaylee.
So when did you first start writing?
I've been writing since the second grade when I was a student over in Sedan, and obviously over the years my writing got larger and longer. And by the end of my senior year of high school, it was taking me about a year to write whatever I was writing that year. Other people had their senior papers, and I had the novels or novellas that I was writing. And I was doing it all on I'm dating myself here, but I had a word processor, and I was writing those on and went through a lot of paper. And it was when I got to Southwestern that I really my writing started getting its first acclaim. My first screenwriting award was in the fall of 2000. I won the screenwriting contest. My screenplay was called Waiting for Andrea. And it's followed a couple years later with my first published novel, which was in 2004. I was Until August. And that was based on a screenplay I wrote at Southwestern College. It was a screenplay for a 3-hour film. And at the time I thought there's no way I'm going to be able to do a 3-hour film at this stage of my life. So I reverse engineered it into a novel, and it was published in 2004. And got to do my first book signings here on the Cowley College campus back then. It was a lot of fun. But the origins of Until August started right where I'm actually sitting right now in room 135 of the Brown Center. I used to sit behind a girl who came in on the second day of class, my intro to lit class, and I was taken with her right away. Turned out we'd actually seen each other a couple months earlier. We both went and saw a movie called The Postman at the Winfield Theater over Christmas vacation. We didn't realize at the time, but we were there same night. And she came in on the second day of class because her other class had gotten canceled. And her relationship really took off from there. She laughed at my cheesy, stupid jokes, but it broke the ice. I was coming off of death of my sister. She died of cancer in January 1997, and I was pretty much of an emotional wreck at that point in my life. And this girl, she brought me back to life and gave me a new lease on life. And I'll always be thankful and appreciative of her for doing that. And that's what led to my novel Until August. And it's really what I wanted to do with my film project that I'm doing now, that I'm getting ready to do now, is it's really a story about hope and being able to go on in your life and being thankful for the people who do come into your life for however long they are. I mean, she was in my life for only about a year and a half, but she left quite a mark. And even though I made a ton of mistakes back then in that relationship, and it didn't end well, but I'll always be thankful to her for what she was able to do for me and being able to be the person I am today.
When did you start writing Until August?
I started writing Until August. Actually, I started about 21 years ago. I started writing it out in longhand because at the time I didn't have I was in between I was in between word processors and computers at that time. And I started writing it seriously in the library at Southwestern College. And I'm really sorry, Southwestern. I went through a lot of paper back then. And I developed it as I went on to graduate school at Wichita State. And this in my apartment in Winfield, just working on it all through those years until I got it into the novel form. But it wasn't, even after I got published, I was always still taken with the visual of the story. Because even when I was living the story back in 98 and 99, it was always felt like a movie. We even looked at each other so many times and said, this is just like a movie. And you hear certain music cues from other movies, and I'm like, it conjured up those images of that story. And I'm like, this really should be a visual story. And that's what I'm trying to do right now is get it all onto film so I can share that with people.
Yeah. Are you gonna keep the same story from the book, or are you gonna change it up?
Yes, the storyline is still the same. The characters have changed a little. But with what I wanted to do with Until August Now, if I was going to go back and revisit it all these years later, I changed the point of view from omniscient third person to with changing the lead. In the book, it was Frank Archer, who was the main character, the guy who was based on me. And I thought, well, let's muddy it up a little bit and let's do something I've never done before, which is tell the story from the point of view of a female lead character. And let's change it up a bit, but still keep the basic story, the romance over several months at Cowley College, but really just tell it from the other person's point of view, and really build from there. And I'm really happy I've taken that risk as a storyteller, because I'd never done this before, and just wanted to go into new territory and challenge myself as a writer and as a person to come up with a good story.
Wow. Did you ever ask her during, like, when you were writing the book on, like, how she felt or anything?
This is off the record.